All right, we are live. It must be Thursday, a little earlier than usual because we have commitments like everyone else. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for you guys to get on board, and then we're going to do a few demos and talk a little gym stuff and maybe trash a few shenanigans that we see going on all the time. And right now we're just waiting for the audience to build, folks. So once you're on board, we'll give you a couple minutes here. And once you're on board, you just throw some thumbs across the screen, let us know you're out there. Thumbs, hearts, whatever floats your boat. Anything but negative, because we can't take it. So when you're out there and you're ready, just show us that you're online. If you have any questions, you can always treat the Coach and Andy show as an Ask Me Anything question for either Andy or myself. And man, are we excited for the stuff we got coming up. I mean, we've been shooting videos for weeks and weeks and weeks now. So we're almost done Andy's Awesome Abs project, how Andy got and keeps cover model ready abs year round. It includes diet, it includes his circuit training, it includes exercise demos, pretty intensive and extensive stuff. You're going to want to get to that product even if you just want to learn. I mean, you're going to learn all kinds of stuff about program design, about food, about cycle diet, about... I mean, geez, there's everything in there, right?
Oh,
even your own recipes are in there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely some recipes on how to, you know, make some meals alive, basically. Maybe even an epic cheat day, cheat meal.
Extravaganza.
Yeah, we'll show you how it's done there. So.
Yeah, well, you can definitely do that. I've been witness to that myself. Reminds me of my old metabolic days that are way behind me. I can still remember them, so at least that's a good thing. I can't be that old, so... yeah, we're just chatting away, folks. We're waiting for the audience to build. Maybe it's a little too early in your day. We don't want to start talking about important stuff and have you miss it. So we are waiting for you guys to come on board. If you have any questions, by all means, send them to us. We only have a few exercise demos for today that we can show you, or will show you. So by all means, get ready, sign up. Let us know you're out there. How we doing there, cameraman? Nobody on board?
Oh, a few people. Tell your friends.
All right. Yeah, we're a little earlier than usual, so people are probably shocked, and they're scrambling around their water fountain at their work, trying to find a way to get on board. So lots we can talk about. It seems to be that diet is the most popular conversation. That hasn't changed since I first started way back in the 80s. I mean, that's what everyone wants to talk about. I did Sunday breakfast with the coach, and we called it, you know, getting real about getting real and all about diet, and it was the biggest one ever. So people never seem to get tired about talking about diet, and I don't blame them. There's so much disinformation, misinformation, and alternative facts out there about how to eat. That no wonder it's so mind-boggling for the consumer out there. But we're not consumers, we're experts, so we actually know what we're talking about. And yeah, you know, I don't back off from saying that I disagree with other experts. So what? I mean, you know, that's after 4+ decades doing something, you develop a little expertise and you develop a solid opinion because you have an educated, academic, experienced opinion. So yes, when people say, oh, well, yeah, he's too biased in his opinion. When you've been doing something for 4 decades and you're informed by research and by experience and by academia and you develop a bias, that's because you know something works. All right? You're on the cycle diet for 13 years because it works. Yeah. All right? So some other bonehead out there who wants to come on and say the cycle diet doesn't work, that's just glorified binge eating. Well, guess what? Guess where they've been at? All right, we're actually do this stuff. We do it. We do the research. We do the background, and we have the experience. So to call something like that bias, it was funny because I posted my Sunday breakfast with the coach to the YouTube channel, and I talked about T. Colin Campbell, the man, 50 years in nutrition research, 50 years, written a bunch of books, been published in every nutritional journal. And I was referring to his book, Whole, Rethinking the Science of Nutrition, talking all about the low-carb myth, the low-carb lie, and the benefits of carbs, etc., etc. And someone, as soon as I posted it, wrote in the comments section, well, yeah, but T. Colin Campbell, he's biased in his opinion. Well, yeah, he's been doing it 50+ years, and 50+ years, you keep seeing the same thing over and over again. guess what? It's going to bias your opinion.
Yeah, he's not going to be wishy-washy about it. He's
Exactly, even though he's objective. So why is that okay? Because it's an informed, educated, experienced, researched opinion where you see patterns over the course of 50 years at the PhD and above level. You're allowed to have an opinion, folks. So that was meant to be a criticism of T. Colton Campbell. It's actually just an idiotic comment. So, and I assume the same in what I know in 4+ decades of doing fitness and nothing but fitness at the highest levels, writing for magazines, ghostwriting for magazines, producing physiques like this one to be on covers of magazines. I think I've earned my stripes. So other people want to disagree with me, and that's just fine. But I have methods, and we follow up the methods, and we learn even more and more about them by entrenching ourselves in those methods. So very, very important point. So how are we doing for an audience? We gathering? Show us you're out there, folks. We got a couple things. It's funny. One of the things about learning about fitness is asking the right questions, okay? Oftentimes, some of the best cannon fodder I get, ammunition I get for podcasts or things like this, is stuff I overhear in the gym, okay? One of the things I overheard in the gym recently is I was doing my anterior reaches, and you can find those on scottabelfitness.com. And someone said to someone else, well, what's so hard about that? That's the wrong question. It's the question when you're doing fitness stuff isn't what's so hard about that. The question is what's so effective about that. That's the question you want to ask. Why is something effective or not effective? It's not about massaging your ego in terms of how hard something is or isn't, okay? So you got comments on that one?
Yeah.
I mean, you do anterior reaches?
Yeah, I got called a ballerina once because I was doing anterior reaches. I mean, I get asked quite frequently, actually, about, you know, just different exercises in general, just, you know, why are you doing it like that, or, you know, what's
They want you to lift heavier.
yeah, basically. So I mean, it's you know, I'm doing it that way because it works. Basically, I'm not doing it because it's, you know, gimmicky or whatever. It's effective, and that's the right way to do it usually. It's not the wrong way.
Leave your ego out of it. You know, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, people always want to know, you know, how to bench more weight. Well, how to bench more effectively is the better question, right? Things like that. So those are the kind of things you want to keep in mind. And then good, solid professional advice as well is important. Like we're just talking before we came on air to share with you guys on how atrocious the battling ropes is and the people that are trying to do it. That kind of insane, violent jarring of the shoulder joint that is so susceptible and vulnerable to chronic injuries and especially as you get older. And you see these classes where they're advocating everyone does the battling rope, and you see people in their 40s and 50s who obviously are not in very good shape, and they're trying to violently jar these ropes up and down. And just, ouch. I mean, you don't invite trauma to the joint. That should be the first thing you learn as a personal trainer is, again, what is effective, not just what makes somebody sweat, okay? Yeah. There's too many consequences to things that are going on out there, and people need to rethink what they think they know. And sometimes unlearning is the best form of learning. And we need to keep that in mind as well. So any questions out there?
Yeah, Tracy would like to know if you guys can demonstrate crossover cables for rear delts on the free motion machine. Do you crisscross the cables?
For rear delts? Okay, well, yeah, we can do that. We did a cross-planar version earlier, but yeah, that's a simple enough thing to execute. So with Andy's height, I think around, put it around 5, Andy, I think, and at D. So at Andy's height, I think 5, and then 5 down here at D. So what he's going to do, good question, we don't mind demoing exercises. Actually, we prefer you guys ask us to demo some exercises. So he's going to crisscross his grip, all right, and then he's just going to come out with it just like a rear delt machine, all right? So I'll get out of the way, and he'll show you how it's done. Make sure your weights are lined up, all right. So crisscross the grip there, and he's going to... yeah, you got to crisscross them, buddy.
Look this up a bit.
All right, now you got to crisscross that grip. There we go. He's going to step away from the machine for maximum stretch. All right, watch him kind of lean into it at the front. He's got a staggered stance as well. Great. Notice how he's always in control of the weight. Always good form. Even his striations have striations, folks. His rear delts, check it out. All through the rhomboid area. Good stuff. All right. I mean, I know we've done that before. Very effective exercise for what we call the SITS system. All right. Supraspinatus, infraspinatus, the teres, and the subscapularis. So very effective exercise that way. Even more effective than the rear delt machine because you can lean into it and lean back, and it sort of feels more liberated doing that. So did that blow your skirt there, Tracy? Did that work? Did that give you what you were looking for? Any questions on that? Execution? Notice how in control the reps Andy is and the cadence. None of this tempo nonsense.
And arms straight. I see a lot of people they start like this and then they
turn
almost extending their arm. It's almost like a
See what Andy's explaining. Turn
exercise.
to the back and just okay. Now what Andy's trying to explain. If you do it with bent arms and get to here and then extend, you turn it into a tricep exercise.
I see that.
So now you're getting a least benefit of two different movements because you don't know enough not to start with your arms already locked into position. So now you're getting a piss poor tricep exercise and a piss poor rear delt exercise. So
no results.
That was a good point. And no results, right. So it's all about progress. And again, that goes back to how we started. What is effective? Okay, not how hard is it. How effective is it? So that was a good, Tracy. We're glad you guys bring that stuff to us.
And they might use more weight than I do, but I mean, they're doing it completely wrong, right? So again, more
Sure.
weight doesn't necessarily mean more stress on the muscle. So
yeah, if only people would leave their ego at the door when they go to work out. So I always said the new Abel rhyme that I came up with is don't egotize your exercise.
Yeah.
And too many people are too locked into that. Ooh. And now ladies are getting into that too with this hip thrust with the barbells, loading up the barbell, getting underneath, and
3 plates aside too.
Yeah, and thrusting away like a T-shirt that says "I want to be a porn star." I don't know, but really, it's an inefficient movement to begin with. The reason you can load up a barbell and put it across your hips like that, not to mention how hard that is on your hip bones, but the reason you can do that is because you're in such an advantageous leverage position that you could load that up forever, and it's not going to do anything for you. Now you got me excited, so let me show you another example of that. Let's say Andy's doing, let's just give him some tricep bench hits, okay? So just normal from to the floor. This is another exercise, folks, that is all about leverage advantage. So he does this, right, and that's the easy way. I'm not going to say the girl way because that's wouldn't be true. Okay, stop. So the next variation that Andy would do would be to put his feet up on another bench, okay? And then what you see from there, for the macho guys that like to egotize the exercise, is let's say that Andy, let's say this is a bench, all right? You don't even have to do a rep. This would be a nice progression, yeah. If this was another bench, what you see with the macho bodybuilders is they get a partner to load up plates here. Well, by loading up plates here, he's still in an advantageous leverage position there. So you can stack plates till you're blue in the face. It's not really adding much in terms of tricep demand. What will add more is doing it from the stability ball. Show him. Because of the demands, proprioceptive demands now transfer from the ball through to the actual locomotive position. All right, that is actually a lot more effective than putting your feet on a bench and having a partner stack a bunch of 45-pound plates on your thighs. All right, and the same thing is for women doing hip thrusts. Get in the hip thrust position for us. Just turn around, lay on the floor on your back, up here with your heels. All right, so the ladies want to get the barbell across their plate, but really, if Andy was just to take this leg and leave it on the bench, puts this leg perpendicular to the floor and drive, he's going to get more out of that, okay? Keep going. And then if he wants to progress this, the first progression is arms out horizontal. All right? The next progression is arms behind his head because that now invites a greater range of motion. And then the next progression after that would be to walk in to his instep, even out that. And the higher he reaches with the tubing, the more force he's going to create. He drives the heel into the bench, so the heel should be up on the bench there. You're just falling off a bit. He drives that heel as hard as he can and yanks on there. Good. And that's just to make a point, okay? It's about understanding leverage positions of the body, all right? And like I've been saying all along, the alphabet of training is the ground, the body, and gravity. And if you don't understand those things, then magic exercises aren't going to mean a whole lot.
No.
So the barbell hip thrust that women seem to be in love with these days is really a misnomer. It's a waste of gym time. By the time you load up the bar, put it on your hips, or get someone to put it on your hips, you could be a lot more efficient doing it in a simpler way. Not to mention, I don't know too many women who want to build bigger asses and hips. I mean, so the more, the more weight you're using in those positions, you're inviting muscle growth. And if that's what you want, go for it. But I'm all about the Smarter Sculpted Physique, obviously, which is the name of our podcast. But it's also about understanding what real expertise is. So thank you, Tracy. You led me into that whole rant there. So that was good. Any other questions?
Yes. Robert wants to know what the best way to work the upper chest is.
What's your favorite? You tackle that one.
Definitely any incline press. Dumbbells, probably more specifically than anything. Even a low incline doesn't have to be. That's probably
Especially a low incline.
Yeah, definitely a low incline. That's probably one thing I see a lot of at the gym is people have the incline way too high, and they're basically just working their shoulders more than their upper chest. So you probably don't want to go any higher than 45 degrees, and even 25 degrees is
yeah.
definitely good
I
for
like
low
15
incline.
degrees, and actually we'll answer that question in detail again. I must be in a detail mood.
No, that's all right.
So what we're going to do, this is the position that I use for low incline. So cameraman, if you just want to show them, if you want to come over here to the side and show them just how low of an incline that is. Because I always say anywhere from 15 to 30 degrees is about where you want to be for an incline angle. Look how low, that's why we call it a low incline. That is shoulder work. That is on the way to shoulder work.
Yeah, definitely.
All right? That's your sweet spot. Now let us show you, you can come back up at my ugly mug there, cameraman. Now we're going to show you why Andy said with the dumbbells, all right? So get back there, cameraman, and we'll show you.
He's moving me around here.
Yeah. I'm slave driver. Just maybe 30, so
Yeah,
you
sure,
don't need to go
that's fine.
crazy.
Yeah.
So we'll show you why dumbbells are the preference. If you got any of my books, Hard Gainer Solution, Physique After 50, you know my preference, my bias is toward dumbbells. Here's why. Even if you're going to mimic the barbell movement in the low incline, all right, one thing you can do, you can't do with a barbell, is you can draw that line up, and what Andy's going to do is produce an incline press that turns into two motions. One is pressing it, and then as he gets near the top, as he brings the two dumbbells together, you can't do that with a barbell. He gets a peak contraction. Show him how it's done. So he comes together as close as he can without touching them. All right? You can't do that with a barbell. That free degree of motion invites more fiber recruitment. All right? You can use a bigger load maybe on the inclined barbell, and that's fine sometimes. But here you get the benefit of not overstressing the shoulder joint, and you get that peak contraction. I always tell my clients, as you get near the completion of the movement, pretend there's a string trying to pick you off the floor so that you're placing those dumbbells in the top position. Excellent. Good. That would be the most effective way to target the upper chest, all right? And then, of course, lather, rinse, and repeat. Repeat, 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 okay? The one thing you don't want to do in that, too many of these gyms, we have to be gentle with the plastic-oriented dumbbells. Too many of these gyms with the iron dumbbells, you see people doing at the top, is they have to clang them together in order to count their reps. Clang, 1, clang, 2. Stop that. As soon as you do that, the muscle rests because that reverberates through the muscle. Get them as close as you can without touching them. That's where the technique comes in.
Be in control of it. Yeah, don't just
Playing.
throw weights around.
Yeah, that's the most obnoxious noise in the gym. Well, one of the most. Anyway, so hopefully that answered your question. What else you got there, cameraman?
Well, we're going to go to the hammies. Lydia wants to know about your favorite hamstring exercises. She'd love some pop bump definition, but hasn't been successful.
Some what definition?
Pop bump, it says here, man.
Pop bump. I don't know what pop bump means. Maybe I'm out of the. Maybe I'm just too old for jargon. But well, you've got wicked hamstring sweep. But I know you're probably going to say no magic exercises, just program. But even in and among that, answer her question for her.
I would say probably like things like stiff-legged deadlifts are really good. Good mornings, those target the hams really good. Your traditional like lying leg curls, seated leg curls.
Nothing magical.
Basically, yeah. There's no secret exercise. It's just application, right? So.
But a lot of the times now, I've talked about this in my video clip of the anterior reach, is people have a stubborn area in the lower leg posterior chain. One of the ways, again, ask the question, not how hard is an exercise, how effective is it? Now, if someone's struggling in that area, Lydia, you want to start your workouts or finish your workouts with the basic anterior reach. Why? Because the proprioceptive demand through the deep longitudinal system and the lateral system, all right, proprioceptive demand, all right, produces and makes your body understand, all right, coordinate in the posterior lower leg chain from the base of the foot all the way up and through the back of the glute. And you can see that in my anterior reach video clip, but I'll show you right now. Basic anterior reach, okay? So basic anterior reach should be part of every workout, prehab or rehab, whether before or after. So standing on one leg. Don't use the other leg to counterbalance and throw right behind you. Just take your leg off the ground, all right? And then, with two hands, your basic anterior reach, come down to the floor very slowly, okay? Balance moves are always done slowly, okay? That doesn't look hard, but if you're a person who only trains body parts, try that and see how wobbly and screwed up you are.
No.
Now, that's the basic. The two other variations are ipsilateral and contralateral, all right? The ipsilateral anterior reach just means if left leg, then use your left hand. Other hand stays on your waist, all right? And you get that. If you can get to the floor, get to the floor. All right? You can also do this with 3 cones in front, all right? And you can touch each cone. And the other variation is the contralateral, which just means if left leg is the balance, right leg is the reach. All right, so up. Very, very slow. You start doing those 3, 5, 6, 8 reps in between sets of, say, upper body work. Get really, really good at them, all right? And then you'll start getting the proprioceptive demand in there will start teaching your lower posterior chain to recruit muscle fibers for work more efficiently and quicker. So that's one of those movements. Doesn't look hard, but if you've been training body parts, it takes a long time to re-educate. The other thing is to put it all together. So you would have a basic reach, ipsilateral, then contralateral, right? So if I was doing it, I would do it in 6s. So I would do basic, ipsilateral, contralateral, back to basic, ipsilateral, contralateral, all right? And you just go through the sequence, okay? And that's way, way harder than it looks, and it doesn't matter if it's hard, it's effective. So that's one of the ways to sort of pre-invite better recruitment in the lower leg posterior chain. Get yourself ready to get more out of the movements than Andy likes, like stiff-legged deadlifts, and things like that, and just your basic leg curl. So hopefully that explained that to you.
Yeah, nice thumbs up there from Lydia.
Okay, any other questions? No other questions? Any comments?
No.
All right, let's show a couple exercises.
Let's
Andy.
do it.
I think we said BOSU, elbow to knee crunch, right? And then we did some lying leg overs. And we're not going to be on for too long today, folks, so get your questions in because we got places to go and people to see, things to do, groceries to grab, all that sort of stuff. Excess to stock. No, just kidding on that. All right, so one of the things here, well, we'll tell you after, but your basic contralateral elbow to knee touch from the BOSU, boom. So yeah, come on in, cameraman. Good, you want to make sure you're in a comfortable position. Good, and then just switch sides there for us. So all your reps to one side, all your reps to the other side. All right, and then boom, that knee to elbow crunch. All right. And if you can't get, and as he comes down and unlocks, he should really rotate out so that he can rotate back in. So as he gets down here, boom, to maximize. Now, if you can't do this because it's way harder than it looks, show him the dialed down version. Just get up as far as you can with the elbow, just halfway. And that can be your beginning position. All right, good. Now, why am I showing you this? Because it fits with the theme of the discussion today. What's so hard about that? No, 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 no. What's so effective about that? I get people to do these at my workshops, when I used to do workshops, and the next day they can't believe how fried and sore their abs are just by taking the basic contralateral elbow to knee crunch and doing it from a BOSU. It produces a whole new adventure in recruitment, and then the next day you feel all that DOMS in the abs and know why you're doing that exercise. So that's very, very important. Tell them your experience with it.
Yeah, the first time I ever did them, my abs actually just did a full-on lock-up cramp right after, and I had to hang from a chin-up bar to try to stretch everything out so it would stop cramping. So I knew right there it was,
effective.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah,
it was hitting it in a way that I'd never,
Sorry about
that. Really hit it before, right? So
yeah, and that's the thing, folks. It's not about magic implements. It's not about kettlebells are magic, and BOSUs are magic, and TRXs are magic. It's how and when you implement these exercises that mean the most. So that's a dialed-up variation. Now we're going to show you another way to digress and progress certain exercises to dial them up, dial them down. So what did we say? The lying leg over.
yeah, the leg over.
All right, grab a dumbbell there for us. How we doing, cameraman?
Good, good.
Everybody signing off? They're sick of me already?
No, we're actually gaining some popularity
Or are
here.
they just saying, we want Andy, we want Andy? Okay, all right. So the lying leg over, folks. First of all, we'll start without the leg over. So we're just going to, I'll put this down when the time comes.
Okay.
So the first thing we're going to start is with your basic leg raise, okay? So, and when I say basic, I mean the most dialed down variation. So here's how to learn how to dial down and dial up progressions, all right? So this is your basic level. With the hands in this position, he has the most stability and base of support. If I want to dial this up, he just puts his hands out in the crucifix position, and now he's got less base of support, improving how intense the demand is and the contraction is in the abs. If we want to dial that up one more time, he puts his hands over his head, all right, and he can grip something. But if he doesn't grip something, that is the most dialed up position because now his base of support has dwindled entirely. All right, good. All right. So just sit up because we're going to continue from here. So that's your basic lying leg raise before we even added any locomotion and how to progress it. And what have I been trying to teach you guys for weeks and weeks? That progressive resistance is a bit misleading. It's about progressive intensity, all right? So there's a lot of exercises you can't add weight to. So what do you do when they get easy? What do you do when the plank gets easy? What do you do when a basic push-up is too hard? you have to learn how to digress and progress exercises. So, how are we going to do that? We're going to switch this lying leg raise now, and we're going to turn it into a lying leg overs, and then we're going to show you how to dial that monster up, okay? So, put this down here. All right. You can find this one in my 5-day Met from when I was actually training for that myself. So this is his basic position, his start position. Lying down and a touch and go leg over. Notice he's not slamming his feet into the ground. Basic position, best base of support is with the hands down in front. All right, stop. All right, and then just bring your knees up to give yourself a bit of a rest. So now, if we want to make this a little harder, next variation is his hands in the crucifix position. Less base of support. Lying leg over. It's a leg over a dumbbell. Touch and go. You got to touch the floor on the other side. Bam. And now to maximize that progression, hands behind. This really turns it into a monster, especially if there's no base of support. Now you're really, really, really engaging the abs and the whole anterior chain. And if he needs a base of support, he'll just grab something, keep it going. Right on. Now we're going to turn this into a real monster. All right. Oh, I think we had a G.
I think it might have been up one more on each side. Yeah.
One more? Yeah, all right. So to turn this into a real monster, he's going to add a focus. All right, he's going to put some resistance, and he's going to press that weight, almost like he's trying to slam it down, but he's going to hold it in position. And now he's got to hold the weight and do the lying leg over. So now he's got no support base plus added resistance, and it turns the lying leg over into a monster. Good stuff, buddy. Good stuff. All right, let it go. So that is how you understand progressions and digressions. Dialing things up, dialing them down in ways that make sense, okay? Tell them about how hard that final position is.
Yeah, that's a good one. You can feel it big time all through your serratus and your obliques. Just trying to hold yourself steady the whole time too. I mean, it's
stabilization demands
absolutely.
while the lower body is moving.
Yeah.
And notice the muscles he said he felt all through the anterior chain, serratus, intercostals, obliques. All right, but like you said, that stabilization demand while another part of the body is moving, that's wicked. That's why gymnasts look so good. They have a lot of that coordinated chain of part of the body stabilizing another moving part of the body. And that's why when I did my Met training, I studied so much of gymnastics and the gymnastics moves, and I broke them down into individual and why they would be so effective in producing nice, svelte, shapely physiques. And what you find when you do that, they're not adding progressive resistance. They're not doing all their jumps and their vaults and stuff with weights tied to them. No. So that's the myth of progressive resistance. It's progressive intensity by adding another movement to the chain. Hopefully you guys understand all that, because it's really important in the vernacular of understanding physiology, kinesiology, and the biomechanics of human movement. So very, very important. Hopefully you got that across. Questions, comments, complaints?
Actually, it's time to catch up on a few questions.
All right.
Paulina wants to know if you can show her the right way for deadlifts.
Well, only with dumbbells, because there's no barbells in the dungeon. So is that okay? Are you looking for RDLs or sumo, or what are you looking for? She's
just saying that she doesn't feel like she does it right. So.
All right, Andy, grab another dumbbell. Let's just show the basics. I just show her the stiff-legged, I guess. Now, the one thing you want to do, folks, is you really want to start from the rack. Don't ever start from the floor, because that risks unnecessary lower lumbar strain and spinal compression. Always start, when it's deadlifts, always start in an advantageous position, like this, okay? So maybe turn to the side so they can see it from the side. So what he's going to try to do is keep those dumbbells close to his body so that he doesn't invite unnecessary spinal compression or lower lumbar strain, all right? Keeps it in nice and tight. Now he's doing what we call the barbell variation, which means even though he's using 2 dumbbells, he's pretending it's a barbell, all right? Now, if you had a bad back, like someone like me, what you would just do, yeah, you just curve the dumbbells a little bit, and then that actually offsets spinal compression, all right? And notice how controlly he is. And if you really have a bad back, then you would go right to just the hammer position where the dumbbell's completely at your side. So as you can see, you still get the kinetic chain benefit and the metabolic benefit of the movement, but you no longer have that spinal compression force on the lower lumbar. So even people with back injuries can do this movement if they do it properly. So does that help you? Is it Paula or Paulina?
Paulina.
Paulina, does that help? Hopefully that helped. I mean, we did it from the side. We could do it from the back, but today we're a little more pressed for time than usual. So anything else?
Yeah, Max is, when he's doing tri pushdowns, do you let your elbows go out or keep them tight to the sides?
We've done these before, so forget this personal trainer folklore of everything having to be microanalyzed. Basic movement that has now, you know, some personal trainer gives you 23 different things to think about, and you're sitting in a bloody machine.
Yeah.
Lift the damn weight, as Fred Hatfield used to say. Having said that, what we mean, Max, is if you're doing a basic tricep pushdown, might as well do it, Randy.
Yep. Just let your elbows do what they want to do, but definitely
Talk to the camera, tell them.
definitely don't you know, start swinging your
Repeat
arms.
what you first said.
swinging
Repeat what you first said.
Yeah. You want to let your elbows do what they want to do naturally, like, you know.
If they
You want to
flare
feel
out, they
comfortable.
flare out.
Yeah, you want to feel comfortable doing it. Right?
Sometimes it depends on what bar you're using to do.
Like,
Actually, let me just make that more weight or you're going to fly. Okay, so show them. So you might want to come, yeah, do it from the side. So here you go, Max. Here's the thing. Go ahead. You want to, the most important thing is to press through the floor at the bottom to get that peak contraction. Now, what Andy's thinking about is his tricep, not his freaking elbow. All right, I don't know where this personal training folklore comes from. See, the difference is he doesn't think about that.
Yeah.
All right, he lets his elbows do what they're going to do. If they're going to flare out, they're going to flare out. That has a lot to do with his grip, width of his grip, the handle he's using, and what's natural for him. Forget about all this stuff, personal trainer. I think I even heard it the other day and just rolled my eyes. Yes, I'm doing the tricep push down. Make sure your elbows don't move and keep them locking.
So awkward too.
Look to the side and yeah. I mean, that's how to get nowhere real quick.
Yeah.
Is to not, again, understand ground, the gravity, and the body, and that the body's natural inclinations to do things is sometimes the right thing.
Yeah.
All right. So on a tricep push down, if your elbows want to come out to the side, God bless you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine as long as they're not doing that to lift more weight. All right, so again, that's very, very important. So, good question, good question. We sure do get good questions lately. Anything else there, cameraman?
Yes, Lydia is brave. She said that she's going to be 52 this year,
All right.
and she's been exercising since her early 20s.
Lydia, welcome to the Platinum Club, first of all. We don't celebrate golden years in the Platinum Club. We are the Platinum Club, and we're one level above golden. So welcome to the club. Go ahead.
Anyway, she knows that things have changed as she's gotten older.
Absolutely.
Is your book, Physique After 50, a good resource for someone like me who feels a bit challenged?
Absolutely is, Lydia. Absolutely is. I tried to write in there all the ramifications and realities of getting older. Yes, you can do cosmetic things, right? You can get Botox, you can get this and that. But if that doesn't go along with feeling good, I talk in Physique After 50 about sarcopenia, about the realities of disruptions in the hormonal and biochemical systems, and what that means to people over 50, that it's harder to lose fat, it's harder to maintain muscle, all right? And you can only combat sarcopenia, which is the loss of muscle mass and the lowering of metabolism. You can't overcome it. So the first thing is acceptance. The second thing is, what's the best ways of doing that? Let me tell you the worst ways of doing that is the ways that most people over 50 try to do it, and that's cardio. Cardio invites even more muscle mass, especially loss of muscle mass, even the longer you go. So you're making one problem that's natural declining in hormonal systems as you age, you're making it even worse when you do jogging and running and things like that. Best way to combat sarcopenia, resistance training, all right? But you can't just go in and walk around the gym and I think I'll do this, I think I'll do that. And believe it or not, most of your personal trainers, that's how they operate. That's how they operate. They just think of magic exercises. But no, it's all about programming. And in Physique After 50, Lydia, I talk about the importance of programming. But the number one most effective thing you can do after 50 is work out with weights, okay? The myth, the aerobic myth keeps living on. I did a whole chapter of the aerobic myth in my book, The Able Approach. You might want to check that out. But for age over 50, it becomes really, really important not just to do the right exercise, but to do the right kind of exercise the right way. That's why I said at the beginning, no battling ropes for people over 50. No muscle ups, no CrossFit nonsense, okay? You got to stay away from those things because that's just inviting trauma to joints that are already aging and not functioning as well as they used to be, okay? This is my range of motion in my shoulder. Show them your range of motion in your shoulder. All right? That's how it should look, all right? This is me at age 55 after a career of overhead presses with 110-pound dumbbells, incline presses with 160-pound dumbbells. Your previous history in your youth has consequences when you age. These are the realities, okay? People who tell you, you know, age is the new youth and all this other stuff, all right? That's just catering to what we call your wish bias. There's realities of aging that have to be accepted, have to be dealt with. Sorry about the rant, but I feel real strongly about this. So I wrote Physique After 50, Lydia, but I also wrote a follow-up book called The Aging Proposition, and that's all about how to age while here and here. Okay, so I think without those two, the physical stuff doesn't mean a whole lot. So hopefully that helped answer your question. What a great question. Great questions today.
Awesome questions.
What else we got there, cameraman?
A little while back, you referred to a new book just as Janine was coming online. Do you remember what you were referring to?
Janine, you got to get here early. We're going to have to punish you and not answer that. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what I referred to earlier. It might have been my Sunday breakfast with the coach, T. Colin Campbell, maybe the book Whole, Rethinking the Science of Nutrition.
Yeah.
And he's also got another one called The Low Carb Lie. Love it, all right? Low carb nonsense is really back in vogue again. It seems to go in a circle every 5 years. So
people seem to think they can't, you know, lose fat without eating no carbs and feeling.
And actually, I just
too,
one of my former clients, Karen McCoy, shout out, sent me a link from YouTube from a nutritionist who was just got done a study of keto diet, and the conclusion was the opposite of what they expected. And the conclusion was no advantage to a keto diet. That was their conclusion. Right, so I could have told them that and saved them all the friggin' investment fees. But okay, whatever. So that's good. Oh, another question?
Yeah, a little while back, Max contacted us and mentioned that he's been told abs are a muscle group that constantly flexed or contracted. So you're supposed to stretch the abs more than during ab workouts for the six-pack to show more. Is that true?
That just sounds like gobbledygook to me. Are your abs flexed right now? Mine aren't.
No, mine.
No. I mean, so no. There's stabilization demands. There's things like that. There's
sounds like somebody's
bro
came
science.
up with like the
Sounds like
sell
bro.
something. Basically.
Sounds like bro
Yeah,
science. No. I mean, we're just about to release Andy's awesome abs to talk about how Andy developed cover model abs and keeps it year round, along with the cycle diet. That's the cycle.diet. It has no .com, the cycle.diet, if you want to read the book and or take the course. All right, but no, I don't see any kind of advantage in that. However, I will talk about the advantages of yoga and some Pilates to have those strengthening benefits, because you want a muscle to be still maintain its elasticity and its full range of motion. So those things are very important as well. What we call viscoelasticity is the ability of a muscle to return to its original shape after contraction. So those things become very, very important as well. But you can only do so much in the fitness window. All right, being good at one element of fitness automatically negates being good at certain other elements of fitness. And if you are training muscles properly, you're already training them through a full range of motion, or should be. Okay, so another good question. And that's it, folks. We're going to call it a day here. And if you can't do half of these things, stay with us. You'll get there. We're here to support you, help you, educate you, knowledge base. And we got a question or a comment?
I think this is important. Coach, out of all your books, which one would you recommend to absolutely read for females?
I was going to defer that one to Andy, but since it's for the ladies, I mean, it really depends where the ladies are stuck. I would, lately I've been referring to understanding metabolism so they can understand the lie of calorie counting and get away from being trapped inside the thin cage with things like Fit Day and all the rest of this stuff that wants you to measure every element of your day in terms of calorie expenditure. The anti-diet approach to weight loss and weight control is another good one.
Metabolic damage probably too.
Metabolic damage and the dangers of dieting. We're going to be getting into that soon. This coming Monday I have Crystal Scott Dixon from Precision Nutrition is going to be on my podcast, so we're bringing that to you soon as well. And yet getting away from gimmicks. If it fits your macros, gimmick. Intermittent fasting, gimmick. Okay? Get away from the vogue trends that keep coming around and trying to sell you stuff. Okay? Fat burners, gimmick. All right? Rapid fat loss, gimmick. There's no such thing as losing fat fast. Okay? All right? And then when you do lose weight fast, there's a price to pay for that. So, and then my other book would be Permanent Weight Loss. And then I have another one called The Busy Woman's Train at Home Diet and Training Guide. So there's a bunch right there. But the anti-diet approach, I think, and understanding metabolism would be good places to start. And for, I think it was Lydia, Physique After 50 and the Aging Proposition, good places to start as well. So anything else there?
You know, there is one here. Louis was just commenting about your cycle diet. Is the cycle diet good for building muscle, or is it just suitable for maintaining it and staying lean year-round?
No, you can definitely build muscle on that. That's one of the reasons for the refeeds. Actually, is that increase in calories. That's going to help you build muscle while at the same time staying lean. But in saying that, you should have a certain level of muscle maturity before starting the cycle diet. So, I mean, myself, I certainly had to bulk up at in my younger years. I had to get that that muscle maturity and that amount of muscle that would actually support a metabolism that could stay ripped year round. So I mean that really needs to be assessed on an individual level. But yeah, I mean I've certainly improved my physique since I started the cycle diet. I mean it's
and at the heart of my career, I lasted on the cycle diet for more than a decade, and the magazines wrote about me all the time. Every time I see Abel, he looks better, and I was on the cycle diet. Whereas the reason they wrote that wasn't because I'm so awesome. It was because, even though I am, but the reason they wrote that is because back in those days, bodybuilders didn't know any better. They were either in shape or out of shape. So they were fat for 8 months of the year, and then in shape for a photo shoot for a quick, and then they would overload the photo shoots and take like 1,000 pictures to last a year, and the magazines would try to present the implication that these guys are in shape all year, whereas really they spent most of the year 50, 60 pounds heavy.
Yeah, they didn't look like athletes at all,
so that's why the magazines wrote that about me, and without the cycle diet, I definitely wouldn't have been able to have that written about me, that every time they see me, I look better. So that's a good point, then. Good point. Anything else?
You know, just lots of positive comments here.
We appreciate that.
And how do we let the people at the internet know that we're getting these things? I think it's...
You got to share, folks. When you come online, like I said, my Sunday breakfast with the coach, most popular ever, and that's because so many people shared it. So if you can go out there and just, I think that's what you're asking, how to get more people
the likes, the
involved. Your likes, the hearts that you do across
thumbs up.
Yeah, the thumbs up, but especially after the fact, sharing these, going on and sharing. That is good as well. Too many people are falling for too many gimmicks, and as much as you can only partially blame the consumer, you gotta blame the people who are chasing the quick buck. So, if I wanted a quick buck in this industry, if I wasn't about being a man of integrity, and if I wasn't about the importance of expertise, I would have just sold supplements 20 years ago. I might be a millionaire and retired right now. No, seriously, right? I was around, and I endorsed supplements. I was an endorsed athlete for supplement companies. I knew the ins and outs of how it worked. I could have easily went that route. I had offers to go that route. That's a story for another time. And I would already be rich, but I couldn't do it because I always remembered when I was the consumer. And I don't want to rip people off that way. So, very, very important. Let's end on that, folks. Please, by all means, share. Let's get the word out there. Get more people involved. After these go on Facebook Live, within a day or so, they also go to my YouTube channel, all right? YouTube, Scott Abel Coaching, I think it's called. Various playlists, all right? We're back on YouTube with these, with exercises. Thanks to my protege, the young lion here, Andy, joining me. We're now able to do a lot of more clips on YouTube, so we'll be around for a while. Young lion, old lion, signing out. We'll see you next time.